Hello and welcome to Outline. Coming up are the headlines for today. Oil slick of Oman's coast now cleared. Royal Hospital responds to citizens' allegation on social media. Those are the headlines for today. On our show today, we also have our special segment Fighting COVID with Madiha Asif. But first, let's take a look at the weather updates.
Muscat will be sunny, temperatures between 35 to 27 degrees Celsius. Musandam will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 36 to 26 degrees Celsius. North Al Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 31 to 25 degrees Celsius. South Al Batana will be rainy, temperatures between 36 to 24 degrees Celsius. Al Buraimi will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 30 to 26 degrees Celsius. Al Dhahira will be rainy, temperatures between 38 to 25 degrees Celsius. Al Dakhiliya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 37 to 22 degrees Celsius. North Al Sharqiya will be rainy, temperatures between 36 to 22 degrees Celsius. South Al Sharqiya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 37 to 26 degrees Celsius. And Al Wusta will be sunny, temperatures between 38 to 21 degrees Celsius. Bafar will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 27 to 18 degrees Celsius.
Welcome back to Outline. Let's take a look at the local stories for today. The oil slick that has spread over the territorial waters of the Sultanate off the coast of North Al Batana has now been cleared and the waters are free of environmental pollution, the Environment Agency said in a statement. In a statement, the authority also said the oil slick was divided into two spots which are located outside the territorial waters of the Sultanate at a distance of 19 nautical miles and 27 nautical miles east of the Vilayat of Liwa. The Pollution Operations Control Center at the Environment Authority, in coordination with the Royal Air Force of Oman, continued monitoring the oil slick that was detected in the north of Sohar port 48 hours ago. In the north of Al Batana, we confirm there is no pollution in the Sultanate's territorial waters. Yesterday, an Air Force plane has seen an oil slick east of Vilayat Liwa, and the aerial survey today included all areas around the port of Sohar at a distance of 20 nautical miles from the port to the north, east and south of the port, and no traces of these spots or others were detected, EA added. The authority confirmed that it will continue monitoring and control operations in the aforementioned areas in cooperation with the concerned national and regional authorities. EA added, saying, the authority appreciates all the strenuous efforts made by all national and regional bodies to facilitate response operations and appreciates the concern and the tangible concern of society for the safety of the Omani environment. The Royal Hospital has issued a statement on a post made by a citizen on social media where he alleged that a false COVID-19 positive report was issued to him by the hospital when other centers declared him to be COVID-19 negative. The citizen Ali Al-Kindi had tweeted on the same issue. In a statement, the Royal Hospital said the following. This is with reference to the tweet by the citizen Ali Al-Kindi about the report he obtained of his infection with the coronavirus, and that result contradicts the same examination that was conducted for him in other medical centers. The Royal Hospital responds by indicating that a review has been made and evaluated for the examination that the citizen underwent in the hospital, and it was found that the result was negative from the examination device, but the result entered by the duty technician was a mistake. The hospital has taken additional steps to avoid this from happening in the future and is in line with the laboratory standards and the requirements of quality systems. The Royal Hospital thanks Al-Kindi for the tweet aimed at feedback and confirms that it will continue to study and evaluate all proposals, complaints and opinions it receives with full transparency, impartiality and credibility in order to reach better services that meet the aspirations of the hospital users according to the available capabilities. Those were the local stories for today. Now let's join Madiha Asif in the Fighting COVID studio for more news on the coronavirus.
Thank you, Antara, for the updates and welcome to Fighting COVID. As you all remember that last week it was announced that Omanis were exempted from institutional quarantine while expats coming with their families to Oman were also exempted from one. In fact, yesterday another announcement was made stating that single expatriate parent coming to the Sultanate accompanying their children will also be exempted from institutional quarantine. Now, speaking to Times of Oman, a senior official from the Ministry of Health confirmed that an exception has been added for the citizens and families coming to the Sultanate. Families and single expatriate parent coming to the Sultanate with their children aged 18 and below are exempted from institutional health quarantine with a commitment of domestic isolation or quarantine. The circular was issued on Wednesday from the Ministry of Health and has been sent to the Civil Aviation Authority. Moreover, in regard to the increase in number of coronavirus cases in the Sultanate lately, the Ministry of Health has issued a decision to postpone all operations in the Sultanate's hospitals due to the increasing number of coronavirus cases until further notice. In fact, on Thursday, the Ministry of Health has issued a circular to private health institutions stating, in view of the increasing number of coronavirus cases and the increase in the admissions to government and private hospitals, everyone is kindly requested to postpone all dates of surgical and non-surgical operations that require hospitalization. Surgery to be limited to emergency cases only, with the exception of cesarean sections and scheduled fertilization operations, taking into account the need to take the utmost precautionary measures to prevent further outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The decision will be effective from Sunday, April 11, 2021 until further notice. Now, speaking exclusively to Times of Oman on the same subject, an official from the Ministry of Health confirmed that the postponement of the operations includes all government hospitals in the Sultanate as well. In fact, in addition to that, the health officials have also urged all citizens and residents not to respond to any survey related to the health sector, especially with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic, unless the approval number for the research project is attached to the Studies and Research Center at the Ministry of Health. They said that the Ministry of Health would like to warn all citizens and residents not to respond to any survey related to the health sector, especially with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic, unless the approval number for the research project is attached by the Studies and Research Center at the Ministry of Health. The ministry calls on everyone to ignore all forms or links circulating on social media sites in which the approval number is not mentioned, and the ministry will not bear any responsibility for violating this warning. Moreover, Sheikh Dr. Kahlan Al-Kharusi, who's the Assistant Grand Mufti, has also cleared the ambiguity for those wondering if they take vaccine shots while fasting during the month of Holy Ramadan would lead to breaking their fast. He said it is safe for those who are fasting to be vaccinated, and doing so will not go against the rules of the holy month. With Oman's nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive currently underway, many of those who will be fasting during the day have wondered whether being administered the vaccine will lead to their fast considered broken. On this, the Assistant Grand Mufti said that after viewing the documentation concerning the vaccines, namely the Oxford AstraZeneca and Pfizer BioNTech injections, the conclusion is that they will have no effect on a person's fasting. This is because a person who receives the AstraZeneca injection is given a 0.5 ml dose, while a single dose of the Pfizer vaccine is of 0.3 ml. Regardless of the contents of the vaccine, this is a very small amount. There is a ruling under Islamic Sharia that pardons people who take vaccines such as this or any other because it involves injecting medicines into the muscle in very small amounts. If you all remember, for the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about how AstraZeneca is making headlines across the globe in regards to the rare blood clots that people have been complaining about after receiving the vaccine shot. Now, Johnson & Johnson is also being assessed for the same reason. We'll be talking about in detail right after this quick commercial break.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Fighting COVID. Now, the European Medicines Agency said on Friday that it has started to assess and review blood clots in people who received Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine. Bloomberg reported that 4 serious cases of rare clots accompanied by low blood platelets, one of which was fatal, have emerged after vaccination with the Johnson & Johnson jab. The move turns the European regulatory safety scrutiny on a second COVID-19 vaccination after the Oxford AstraZeneca jab was possibly linked to a rare blood clotting disorder. In fact, one of the blood clot cases following the Johnson & Johnson jab happened during a clinical trial. At the time, the company responded saying it had found no evidence the vaccine was at fault. The 3 other cases were reported in the United States, where the shot has been given to almost 5 million people. Though the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is approved in the European Union, its rollout in the bloc isn't expected to start until later this month. However, the European Union is relying on a single-shot vaccine to boost its COVID-19 immunization program amid restrictions in some countries on use of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab, which is administered in 2 doses for certain age groups. Moreover, after Germany and Netherlands pausing administering the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in people under 60 years old as a precautionary measure, France has also told people under 55s to abandon the use of AstraZeneca jab for their second dose and have another vaccine instead. The country's health minister said the new advice will be that rival vaccines, Moderna and Pfizer, should be used for this age group at their second appointment. It comes after Germany reiterated advice that under 60s whose first jab was the AstraZeneca should get a second dose of Pfizer or Moderna. The advice was issued a few weeks ago over fears that it could cause dangerous blood clots in the brain. The UK medicines regulator has said the benefits of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine continue to outweigh any risks. Now, talking on the lines of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, Australia on Friday said it had ordered more alternatives for the AstraZeneca vaccine, setting back its vaccination rollout, and Hong Kong delayed deliveries of the shot amid concern about a possible very small risk of rare blood clots. The Australian decision effectively puts paid to plans to have its entire population vaccinated by the end of October, highlighting the delicate public health balancing act the issue has created. Millions of doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine shot have been safely administered around the world, and millions more have been administered, but some countries have limited its use to older age groups as a precaution while cases of clotting are investigated, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, Australia said that it had doubled its doses of the Pfizer shot after health authorities recommended that those under 50 take it instead of AstraZeneca, which had been the mainstay of its vaccination program. On the brighter side, the COVID-19 variants that had been worrying scientists do not appear to be rising in the popular European destinations, UK advisors has said recently. While COVID infection rates are still high in countries such as Spain and France, levels of, for example, the South African variant are staying pretty constant and are not going up, according to scientists advising the government. The Kent variant is now so prevalent in many European countries that there is currently no advantage for other variants, and so they are not particularly rising. Although there are pockets where variant cases appear to be high, they are still only accounting for around 5% of cases or fewer. As a result, experts believe variants may not become such a problem depending on what measures countries such as Spain and France take to lock down now. The advisors believe that in Europe, as has been the case in the UK, there is now a race between increased viral spread and vaccination. Well, this was all from our Fighting COVID studio today. Let's go back to Antara.
Thank you so much, Madhiya. Those were more coronavirus updates as well as the local stories for today. We'll be back tomorrow with midday updates, so stay tuned.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.